Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It's Sunday, and I hope you're having this fabulous day and you're enjoying time with your family, or time alone, or reading, or eating, whatever you're doing today. And I hope those of you who have been out of power and water that it's making its way to you. And I honor you and send you that kind of love. Um, Over the past 24 hours, I've heard an awful lot of really good things about people that have been demonized in the past. And one of them was Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, the congresswoman from New York, who has raised over $4.7 million as of right now for the Texas recovery and the people of Texas, which is something that she's not required to do, and she is doing it. Whether you agree with her politics or not, um, I can only say that I admire her a great deal for that. And I also admire Beto O'Rourke because he did not win the Senate nomination, as you know. Ted Cruz did in the state of Texas. And Ted Cruz decided that he didn't need to hang around, at least for a while. So, and Beto's been making phone calls and reaching out and helping all kinds of people that are in need. So when it comes down to where the rubber meets the road, you have to look at the people that are willing to do the work, that are willing to say, I don't care, they're people. People are people. We're all human. And so after that, I decided that I would talk a little bit more about information that I have felt for most of my life on thoughts or things, and what we think and what we believe we see, and everything has a cause and effect. And just today, my um, teachings and my readings that I've done over a period of time have come back around, as they often do, in full circle in reading this book called Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. And I want to thank Susan Lynn for bringing this book or this subject to my attention, because everything that's in here goes right along with Eckhart Tolle. It goes right along with even way back when the power of positive thinking was brought out in the 30s and 40s. So we have to remind ourselves that what we think, what we say, and our deeds all are on a continuum as a cause and effect. And it's so important to put the good out there because we often get angry and we put the bad out there. And we have to remember we have to balance that. It's very important to balance it. If you don't, then you're just going to cause more cause that will have its own effect, and so on and so on and so on. Um, One of the biggest proponents of this type of Hawaiian ritual is that it asks that you forgive with no hesitation. It asks that you say the magical words that you forgive. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. And even in this book, uh, Ulrich Dupre, who wrote this book, says you have to forgive yourself because we're the worst critics on ourselves. We've got to consider that in everything that we do. We have to be careful. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to truly say we're sorry for what we have done. We have to feel it. We have to believe it, and then we have to let it go. So if you think that you can or you think that you can't, you're right. And what this means is that a lot of power goes into our thinking. I had a friend that used to always say um, that this drink or this food or this place or whatever was to die for. And one day I said to her, is it really to die for? Would you like to die for this? Because I don't think it's that worth it. And she never really thought about the consequences of her words. The other thing that we have to be careful of is toxicity in our words, taking an effect on our soul, and then effectively um, coming out as a physical manifestation. in our bodies with illness or depression or anguish or anxiety. And while I'm not giving psychological counsel here, you do have to be responsible for what you put out in the world because we are all connected. Um, Also was mentioned in here, which is so true, that there's a thing called heart math that's out there now. And it pretty much says that if you get within 8 meters of another person, that you're right in their space with them and they can feel everything. They can feel your happiness, they can feel your anger, they can feel your ill health, they can feel whatever thoughts you have about yourself or them. And that's part of what our intuition is. And when we're together, we do influence each other, and we can even say to ourselves, yes, I know when I went to so and so's house, or when I was in the mall and all the people were there, it made me very tired or very anxious, or I wanted to get out of there, or whatever it is that you may be feeling under those circumstances. um, so I talked a little bit about Alexandria and Beto O'Rourke. But I also want to talk about a chap who is named Quentin Quarantino, and it's a joke. I'm sure it's meant to be uh, a play on the words Quentin Tarantino, but it's Quentin Quarantino. And he makes a lot of memes. And he used to make memes about Donald Trump. He probably still is. But in this particular case, over the weekend, starting Friday, the day that Rush Limbaugh passed away, there were a lot of people putting out an awful lot of bad things out there, you know. And whether or not you agreed with him, and I certainly did not ever agree with him, and I felt that he was not a very nice person. Um, I tried very hard to keep my emotions in check and just say, well, what's his karma will be his karma. But what Quentin did was, I guess at one point, Rush had said that he felt abortion was wrong and he would go into an abortion clinic and with his gun and or something like that. There's some story behind it. So Quentin decided to tell people and he has a lot of followers on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. He told everybody to go in and donate to Planned Parenthood under the name of Rush Limbaugh. And in a way, he did that as a sort of a parody because it would be the last thing that Rush Limbaugh would want to do and probably not be too happy about it. Although there's nothing wrong with it, it's a worthy cause. It wasn't like they were trying to donate to some kind of a racist group or something. And over 3 days, at least as of right now, there have been over $1,100,000 raised in the name of Rush Limbaugh to the Planned Parenthood. What this says to me is the importance of small action in the world and how something can be galvanized and people can go along with it for good or bad. We saw on January 6th those that were galvanized and went along with something for the negative consequences are now facing their own negative consequences, unfortunately. And there were people that were taken. In this case, I'm not an advocate for abortion, but Planned Parenthood will help an awful lot of young women who don't have insurance, who are afraid, who are suffering or need birth control or need counsel for either sexual battery or pregnancy. And a lot of times they're not funded as well as they could be by the budgets that are passed in Congress and the Senate because there's a lot of iffy iffy things that seem to be around something. Um, and along with that idea is a fellow that I know was heard to say that he wanted the impeachment trial to hurry up and finish, because you're holding up my uh, pandemic relief check. And I have to tell you that gentleman lives in a state with two Republican senators and two or three Republican congressmen who will probably not pass legislation that will assist in that type of thing. So there's a disconnect between understanding why something is the way it is and the reality. And this is another thing that this Ho'oponopono was talking about, was that we, in order to raise up our vibrations, we need to look and see the truth, not just what we think we know. We have to know it. It has to be ours. We have to embrace it. We have to look at it and say, yes, I've looked at both sides of this issue, and I can see that I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. Why are we so afraid of being wrong? Because we're demonized when we're wrong. And we always want to push that onto somebody else, something else, some other. It's a push pull between us and them, us and them. And whoever isn't us is them. Why? There's just so many people, and there have been so many people over time who are willing to be gaslit and commit atrocities and understand not that they are creating absurdities in order to justify atrocities because they don't want to take the time to find out for themselves. They think they know the answer, and they think that that answer is what their opinion is. They think the opinion is the same thing as a fact, and it's not. It's not a fact, it's an opinion. And where does your fact come from? Most of our facts come and opinions come from our experiences, our education, our familial families of origin, our friends that we are hang around with or did hang around with, um, and our education. But you don't have to be highly educated to think for yourself. It just it just isn't true. You do not have to be. It's just not. It's not what it's not what the rules are. Let's put it that way. Um, Back in 1784, there was a philosopher named Immanuel Kant, Kant. Now, I'm not a philosophy major, and I probably could have a good debate with a lot of philosophy majors about the importance of Immanuel Kant, and they may disagree with me completely. What I like about what he says in his offering, his written essay, What is Enlightenment? Is that he says we must have the courage to think for ourselves. Do not need to look to some guru or some high spiritual teacher or some YouTube chick who's talking about the topic, who thinks that they know more than you do, and I don't, um, to think for ourselves. This is how we formulate how we really believe. And if we never change our beliefs or never look at the other side of our beliefs, we can never be certain that that's what they are, or if they are just parroted from what we've heard. Um, Back in 2000, I think it was 2004, a man came into a place of work and told my husband that um, he knows that this is the truth, some tidbit that they were talking about, and it had to do with politics, of course. And my husband asked, "Where did you get the information?" "Well, I got it in an email." And it was laughable just because it's either on YouTube, on the internet, in an email, in a newspaper, doesn't mean it's true. So don't ever give up your ability to make your own choices. We can be stuck, and many people actually do want to be stuck. But this is antithetical to who we are. If you say you're a free person and you live in the United States or anywhere in the world, and you give over your thoughts and opinions to some kind of authoritarian regime, some kind of dogma, some kind of um, make America better because it stinks right now um, lingo that isn't true. America is great. So is Britain. So is Russia. So is China. If you live in those countries, if you live in Canada, if you live in South America, if you live in Peru, you love your country. You think your country is good. There's nothing wrong with that, but we've become very ethnocentric, egotistical, and frankly quite biased because we don't look at the thing in its entirety. And it's so important to do that. How can you know for sure? And you know what? Maybe we think we know for sure, but maybe we don't. Are we so unwilling to look at the other side and make a decision? There are a lot of people that are, and they live their lives that way. Um, I like to think that most people don't want to be told what to do. However, there are people that do want to be told what to do and to blame someone else if things go wrong. If somebody says to you, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do? Oh, what should I do? Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. What do you think?" And you, well, why don't you do this? Or why don't you? I mean, it's your decision, but maybe you want to think about this, maybe you want to think about that. And the person goes home and then they decide to do one of the things you suggested, and it doesn't work. It's your fault. You told me to do that. I took your suggestion. You know more than I do about it. You should, I mean, I shouldn't have listened to you. Why? We don't want to say we made a mistake. What is wrong with making a mistake? A mistake gives you the ability to go back, gives you the ability to go back and try another take. Kind of like Hollywood, take one, take two, take three. Some takes are more important than others, some are scarier than others. Seek the information. Don't let someone else tell you how to live your life. You only get one you remember right now anyway. You came here for a purpose. You know what your purpose is. You do know what it is. You just don't remember. You have to spend some time inside. You have to see. You have to call out. And then, if you're really lucky, you'll go through a transformation. One of my favorite words. We can transform ourselves and our lives the way we want to do it. And if it doesn't work, we can try again. Who'd think that? So, um, what are you creating? What are you creating? Are you creating a world that is anxious, worried, angry, unsettled? Um, or are you creating a world that starts out with abundance and creativity, positivity, forgiveness? Are you doing the things you need to do? Each day when you get up, do the things you need to do to get you to that place. And finally, and I am one of the biggest nostalgia people you've ever met. I've lived a long time. I've lived in a lot of places. I've known a lot of people. I've done a lot of great things. When a song comes on that reminds me of these great things or some sad things, oh, I wallow in it and I wonder where did the time go and why am I, whoa, that's so sad. And oh, I'm older now and my kids have grown and on and on and on. And then I say, wait, stop. Don't live in the past. You can visit for a while in your memories, but living there takes you out of now. And this is really all there is. We don't even know about tomorrow. We don't know about tomorrow. We know yesterday was here. It was either good, bad, or indifferent. We made judgments about it. We liked it, we didn't like it, but it's over. So try to remember when you do feel that way. And I do. I feel that way. I have a Pisces moon. I'm a Libra with a Capricorn rising sign, which puts me in, this paperwork business type of thing. But I have a Pisces moon. Pisces are very emotional, and I am very emotional. I feel very deeply, and that's why my intuition has kicked off into overtime now, and I'm happy about it because I'm finding some affirmations and some great feelings surrounding that thing. Take pleasure in now. Look at that beautiful picture. Many times, if you're ever doing a meditation, the person will tell you to, fall asleep, and now you're going to wake up and you're going to go to a garden and you're going to walk down a path and you're going to meet somebody and they're going to be a helper, an angel, a guide, whatever. And they're going to bring you pleasure. Don't wait for tomorrow to be happy. Don't wait for next week, next month, next year. Don't wait for the coronavirus to be gone. Don't wait until you finish college. Don't wait until you have grandchildren. Don't wait until you retire. Don't wait until you have kids. Be happy now. Be happy now. If there's one thing that I feel I can say, it's to be happy and to love your life because you're all very special and I really enjoy being with you all. And if you don't like anything I have to say, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Just try it. Have the courage to think for yourself. Namaste. Have a great rest of your week. Oh, we're on the countdown. We're heading to May. I'm May. I'm 2 months ahead. We're heading into March. We're going to march right in. Make it good. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. And thanks for being a friend.